Good morning and thank you for joining. So, yesterday we understood what are standard agents and also we went through one of the major aspects with packaging, which is called as skimming. How exactly we can pick highest and greatest and latest rules from every rule set version, put it in one single version, and we can perform skimming through the wizard in terms of minor as well as major skimming is something we understood. That was the exercise we did yesterday. So today we'll be going one step further to understand what are case types in Pega. Today we'll be working on understanding what are case types in Pega. Very important topic. Pretty much the entire case types / case management is something we'll be understanding. Can someone help me understand what is a case? A basic understanding is any lawyer, if he is going to the court, he'll be telling, oh, I do have a case. In the sense, one of his party has established a lawsuit with the court. That's what he means. Yes or no? When a lawyer is trying to go to the court, he tells that I do have case today. In the sense, like his client, whoever is his client, he has established a lawsuit. Could be for property issue or something like that. This is a generic understanding for us with respect to case. In terms of real world examples, for example, you ordered something and it somehow came through Amazon and it has some issues. You raise a request with whoever is the party, yes or no? Like you try to call them up and say there is an issue, and then they try to create a request. That request can also be called as a case. They have raised a case for your issue, yes or no? So in Pega, when we tried designing our application, we understood this particular case raising mechanism from a flow perspective. We saw that we were creating flows to understand that, which internally created work objects for us. Yes or no? Do you agree? So far, if you see in our implementations, we have used flows to create work objects. But imagine a scenario where multiple flows have to be used to manage a case. What could be one example? Take Amazon. If you order something on Amazon, the product is coming from someone, you know, the the platform is hosted, of course, on Amazon. The shipping is being handled by some other team. All these three are three different teams and they have to be, incorporated in one case. Yes or no? When you place an order, you get one Amazon's order. However, the product could be, a third party who is selling there. For example, if Apple is selling their iPads there, the product is of of Apple, hosted on Amazon's selling platform, being shipped by, let us say, Amazon is using their own shipping or any third party shipping, let us say. These three parties are associated with this thing. So that means, and when you go to shipping has its own steps, like, picking up and doing all those stuff. Are you able to understand what exactly a case is? So when you try to create a Amazon's order, you just get an order number. That's a specific case you created. However, that particular order goes through so much stuff, like from inventory check with respect to do you have that sufficiently available, then pick that up and go to procurement and also delivery, which is shipping, which is supply chain. All these different departments are coming together and everything being tracked under one particular request or order number. That order number is nothing but a case. Same thing is true for most of the applications. Every application is ultimately they're trying to create a case and handle it. Yes or no? Yes or no, guys? So Pega also provides that. If you see the left side explorer, there is something called as case types. Let me click on that. Right now we don't have any case types here. Today we are trying to understand what are these case types all about. This is nothing but, for example, for Amazon, Amazon specific order is a case type. In our case, insurance is a case type for us, right? We are trying to create insurance policies here. So specific instance of work or process that is being carried out within an application, yes or no? Within Amazon application, you're carrying out multiple retail orders. That's what you're doing. That's the task there. That's the process they are following. It can contain multiple steps, right? There are multiple steps and stages. For example, you order it and then it goes through multiple stages and steps. Yes or no? And may involve, and it also may involve multiple users also. Like you order and then it goes for someone else to to pick it up and to ship. Someone else is carrying it in his bag on a bike so that he can go and deliver. These all are the parties who are involved in that particular process at different times till it reaches the end person. Do we agree? Yes. Perfect. So that is a basic understanding. It defines overall structure of your process. Here, when we try to design this, we are designing a overall structure. What exactly should be the structure of a case? Like where exactly, where all, what all processes are involved in this? What are steps are involved in this? What are stages are involved in this? Is what this will be talking about. Today, we will try to define something like that. The existing workflow which we have, we will be, customizing it. So how can we do that? So there is this on the left side explorer, there is something called as case types. Here we don't have a case type yet. Let me try to create a case type and then we'll try to understand this further. While this is loading. Okay. It is asking me, give me a name. Before I give a name, let us draft out what are we looking at. So if you remember when we try to create our customer flow, all we are doing is for this insurance process. So basically what we are doing, we are gathering some customer details, which is like some basic info about the customer. We are capturing that. And then we are saying, give me your vehicle info, right? Also, we are telling, do you have any loss information? That is also something which we are capturing. Yes or no, guys? Are we not capturing this? Right? And there are some approvals also. Approvals information also is something which we are capturing. We are also capturing addresses. Address information. Same way we are also capturing anything else. So we are doing all this stuff and then we are saying, okay, the case closes once all this stuff is done. So that is a case closure. So at a high level, these are the processes which are involved in this insurance case. Yes or no? Basic information has to be captured, vehicle information has to be captured, loss information has to be captured, address information has to be captured, and case has to be closed based on all these capture. Let us see how we can do it within Pega. All we are doing here is we are redesigning our flow, whatever customer flow we had, to be able to accommodate a case type where we can have stages and steps. Using these case types is something which we are going to accommodate and see. Perfect. Let's go back to our designer studio and start off. So I know I can click on case types and I can click on add case type to add a new case type. Let us say I'm trying to add a new case type which is insurance. Insurance is a case type which I'm adding here, which we'll be creating. Once you are done with this thing, try to click on the advanced settings to see where exactly it is getting created. See, alpha, alpha auto hyphen work, alpha auto hyphen work, and it is part of our this rule set version which we skimmed yesterday. Yes or no? Yes or no, guys? Right? Okay. Very good. Let's click submit. All I have done is just created a case type. This should give me, once I submit, a plain work area where it will help me add workflows or different flow rules which we have created. We can add that there. Let us wait for this guy to complete. It's taking a few seconds. So everything which you are seeing which has humans involved and process associated with that can be transformed into a case. Using this case type, you should be able to design that. Once you design and complete this, you will be getting that idea that, oh yeah, this is pretty much doable for anything. We started it the hard way. We understood it from the flow level. So that is the hard part. We have understood that already. How we can use shapes, stuff like that, and then, and create a flow. We understood from there. This part shouldn't be that challenging. It should be like English, but needs some configuration information. We'll see that. What is that? This is a local environment, that's why it's slow. So, I mean, sometimes the environments are slow, so don't worry about that. Perfect. So now automatically Pega has created me, you know, a insurance flow, and a create step is what it has added. Yes or no? Do I see a create step? Right. Right. It has added me a create step. Perfect. Let's go to App Explorer and see if it has added me anything. You see this? It added a insurance class here. See? Are you able to see? Insurance class. See what all things got added. A new class got created called insurance. For that particular case type which I am creating, a new class got created. Go and check the history. You will know. December 19th, 9:43, 3 minutes before, Adminet Alpha has created this class definition for insurance case type. This got created. What else got created? Expand the data model. See, it would have created a data page for insurance and a data page for insurance list. These two got created. You have not created this. You just told, give me a case type. Yes or no? We just created a case type. See, Pega automatically created all this. Expand the process. See, your case type will be there. Py default and a flow, a create form flow, and the work part is associated with that. It has case management default. Do you remember when we created the flows, we added this explicitly to the flow to make sure it creates a work object? Yes or no? See, all this Pega is adding for you. You have not done any of this part. Some report definitions which are necessary also it has added. All necessary here is to understand that when you try to create a case type, Pega is doing this. It is creating all this stuff for you by default. You have done nothing here. It's automatically doing it for you. Make sense? Yes? No? All we did was we just told create me a case type, insurance case type. Pega created this for you. Okay. With a default create step, which means it is going to create a work object when you execute this, is what it means. That's okay. Our first step is not create but capture the basic information. Yes or no? Yes or no, guys? Right? Our first step is to capture the basic information. Let's first decide what all stages are there in our application. I do have basic information capture. If I want to add any additional stages, all I have to do is just click on this plus and this will add a stage. See, adds a stage. Are you able to understand how to add stages? Click here plus, it will add another stage like that. Let us give it names so that it doesn't throw us errors. Delete it. Okay. So my next step is in adding the next stage. My next step would be first is of course the basic info. The next piece is vehicle info, right? That's what we have captured. Info. And my third stage is loss info. Similarly, I can add as many number of stages I want. Are you able to understand how to add different stages? Yes? No? You can say this is approval info. I can click again. I can say address info like this. And the last stage, case closure, is my last step, last stage. These are stages. Your workflow is going through these many stages. Is it making sense? Yes. No. Your workflow is pretty much going through all these stages. Below this is your processes. What is a process? For example, if I open this, okay, these the gray, the way they have designed this is called as a breadcrumb. You know, the bread's side, which is dark brown in color, these look like pieces of those, right? Yes or no? That's why they call it breadcrumb. These stages look like breadcrumb. It's a breadcrumb approach is what they call. These are breadcrumbs. And these are the stages. Basic info, vehicle info, loss info, approval info, address info. All these are stages through which your case goes through. Every case goes through these stages, yes or no? Right. Perfect. Goes through these stages. I have basic information process here, which Process is nothing but a flow rule. Let us see that. Call it basic info. Okay, I'll call it basic info. If you see below every stage, it is telling add your process. Add your process is what it is telling. Right now, we are doing that job of adding processes. What's my first step? It's not create, but it is customer details. I want to capture the customer details. In my case, I want to capture the customer details. Yes or no? I want to capture the customer details. Also, if there are any transaction details, let me capture that as well. To add another step to my flow, I just have to click on plus and it will add another step. Let's say I'm capturing transaction details, if any. Perfect. Now, moving on. After these two steps are done, I want to go to the next stage, which is vehicle info. Right now, there is no process. Let's add a process to it. Process is nothing but a flow rule. We will see that. Come on. Okay. What are we doing as part of vehicle info stage? We are capturing some vehicle information. Yes or no? Let us say we are capturing some vehicle details. So we are collecting some information. Add a information collection step there. Call it auto vehicle details stage. Yes or no? We are trying to do that. So we added the basic info stage and the process associated with that. We added vehicle info stage and the process associated with that. For approvals also, we will be providing some approval details. Yes or no? That is, sorry, loss info details. And the same way, we will be providing approval details, stuff like that. Collect information again. Here we are collecting loss details. Loss details. Same way, keep going further and say we'll be capturing approval details. All these are distinct stages, different stages which this particular case is going through. Yes or no? Right? Address details, let us say. So we have created all this here. Let's save. So far, we just created a case type and added few details to it, like stages. We added what all stages it has and processes and steps to it. The uppermost line is stages, what all stages this case goes through. Below every stage, there is this process. Every stage goes through these processes, this process, and these are the steps in that. What do they mean? Let us try to see that. So right now, if you see under process, what all do you have? We haven't refreshed this yet. How many flows do you see here, guys? Only one, create form default, yes or no? Let's try to refresh this. Perfect. And then let me explain the process category and flow. You see how many flows do we have now? How many flows do we have, guys? See, 5 flows are visible. Basically, what it has done, it has created uh, a flow for each step. Yes or no? How can I access that? Just click on this guy on your workflow and it should open that against every flow. See, customer details, transaction details. Did you create this flow, guys? We didn't create. Pega automatically created this flow rule. See, create form default is that. In the same way, go back to stages and steps. Vehicle info is something which you created here. For that corresponding flow, Pega has automatically created auto vehicle details with connector and stuff like that. But we understand how this flow is created, right? We created these flows before. Did we? Right? Pega is automatically doing it. But for you to understand it is easy because you know how flows are created. Though Pega is creating it, you know how to read this. This is nothing but a start shape and a end shape added with the assignment shape, and there is a connector on top of which a flow action gets configured. Does it make sense? Right? Very important. Perfect. Same way, it has created one for approvals, one for address details. We have been able to create successfully. Save. Let us do a save and run. All we did was added stages and steps. And you see all the stages are visible for us on top here. I-1 is my first case which is getting created for insurance case type I-1, and this is my first stage which is basic info where I am capturing insurance details and transaction details. But right now there are no fields which are visible, which makes sense here, right? Label and description is what it is showing. Yes or no? Perfect. In the same way, if you continue, you will be going through every stage. Whenever you are on a given stage, see, right now it's on transaction details. In the basic info stage, it is on the second step, which is transaction details step. Yes or no? Transaction details step. This way, you can advance this case further. See, now it moves to vehicle info stage. We haven't configured any UI here in terms of section or fields or anything. That's why you're not seeing anything. See what it tells. Auto vehicle detail step in the insurance case type does not yet have a view defined, which means we haven't designed or added any section or properties or view, anything, nothing is configured here, which is fine. Right now, we are just doing a dry run to understand when we create a case type, what do we get? Pega is doing everything at the backend. See, it is creating these flows and stuff. All you are doing is just configuring the stuff on the case type. Advance this case. This way you can advance this case as long as you want loss info, address approval info stage, address info stage, and case closure stage. Does it make sense, guys? How exactly you can create a case in Pega? Are we able to understand? Very good. Perfect. Let's go back to our insurance case type. Let me click on, let us say, basic info, and let's say customer details. On customer details, we are not able to see anything. Like it was showing label and some description stuff like that. Yes or no? Were we seeing that? Well, to configure that, you can choose, for example, customer details is what something which you want to configure. Just click on that step and then you will see that this particular button gets enabled. For example, if you are on a stage, you won't see that. However, if you are on the step within a process, step within a process is nothing but an assignment. Yes or no? See, open this step in this process. The step is nothing but assignment. Where do we configure views in a flow? On top of assignments, right? Do you agree? We define our sections to be displayed for the user. What did we say? The basic definition of assignment is a task which a user has to complete, a form which a user has to fill, anything like that. Let's click on configure view. Whenever you are on a step, you can configure a view for that step. If you click on configure view, you can add necessary details there. You can add the necessary details there. Just click on configure view and see what it gives. See, right now you have, you know, this label and description which is coming there. Yes or no? Yes or no, guys? Perfect. Here you can come and configure your view. That view could be anything. You can add custom fields here one by one, the way we added there. For example, let us say I want to show customer details section here. Let me do this. I'm telling, I just expanded views and I told choose customer details section for this view. Submit. Save and run. Let us see if it is reflecting there. See, customer details section. Are you able to see that section? All the raw materials are ready. This is biryani. You are putting all those stuff together here. Does it make sense, guys? Every time you make a change, you are coming here and verifying. Now you are seeing some unnecessary label and stuff there. Don't want it, delete it from here. I don't want that label and description. My view is ready for the first step. I do have my details ready. Perfect. Don't need nothing. Make sense, guys? Perfect. We can configure similarly for these guys also. Just click on auto vehicle details, configure view, and expand this views. You will get the sections which you have created. Vehicle details, personal vehicle section, add, submit. Loss, nothing. Just click on configure view. Do you find this challenging, guys? No, nothing challenging about this. All you need is understanding of how this has to be done. Yes or no? Easy to understand and configure. for loss amount, loss type. Where do we configure that? That's crazy. Section, last section. Uh-oh. You know what I'm doing? I'm not looking in views, I guess. Sorry. Cancel. Configure view. Views. Oh, this is where I'm looking. Let us say I want to define a field here. Loss type. Exactly similar to how we used to add data types in a given class under data types. We can do it that way. I'll say last type, and then I want to change that. I can click on this drop down and I can say whatever is the type for that. See, I can say pick list, and you can add choices for that. Property, drop down list. You can change that. You want a radio button, you can make it a radio button. Submit. Instance already exists. Okay, it's telling it is already there. Last category. Let us say we call it last category. Submit. See, you can add custom fields also like this. Submit. See, we were able to configure views for all these steps. Define a case type, give your stages, define your processes. Under the process, define your steps, define the view for those steps. Does it make sense? See, trace it if you want. Save and run. It should create you insurance -3. The previous unnecessary details are gone. Now this is my necessary details. Within basic info, these are the steps which are involved. See, above breadcrumb is giving you details about which stage you are in. Active. Status active is what? When you hover over it, it's telling status is active for this stage where you're trying to fill the details. This is a status when it's a futuristic stage where you are going to go. Yes or no? From here. And these are the steps which are involved in your basic info process. Do we agree, guys? Yes? No? Perfect. See, click on continue and you will be seeing it is advancing. I had on the tracer. What am I capturing? Doesn't look like I'm capturing much. Let us see the settings. Alpha auto looks okay to me. So whenever we try to execute any case type, it automatically creates you a case. For example, here insurance I-3 is the third insurance case we created. This is the life cycle of it. These are the stages associated with that. Every stage has its own processes. If you advance this case, it will take you to the vehicle info section. See? And you can also see your custom property. For example, loss category, loss type. We specify that property loss or personal loss. You can check those. Does it make sense, guys? Very good. So this particular insurance class which got created, just admin, and if you see, when we created this case type, Pega also created a class for us, yes or no? This insurance class, work dash hyphen insurance. Previously till work was our work class. After that it has appended insurance and it has created this insurance class, yes or no? And this is a concrete class. It's a concrete class and this belongs to a class group. What is my class group? Till work dash. All the work objects we are creating are under this thing. For example, this I hyphen also. See, all the work objects are getting created into this class group. If I access this particular work class, see, insurance cases also are visible. Why? Because this insurance type, what is it? Belongs to a class group. The class group is this. This is the work class we are using. And it has a work object table mapped at the back, which is present in database, which we have seen in the database class. Yes or no? Yes or no, guys? What is the table? You can see if you try to do a test connection, it is pointing to the work table only. PC alpha auto underscore work. Do you see a new insurance related table here? No, it is pointing to the same work table because it belongs to the same class group. Though it is an insurance class, it is pointing to the same class group. That is why you are seeing all the cases under one class group. Do we understand what is a class group, guys, here? Yes, no, sure. So when we tried designing our application, we chose what will be my work class. Yes or no? A work class is a place where all your work gets created, gets stored. In the sense, we were creating a hyphen some cases when we were running the customer flow. Yes or no? See, these are the cases which we created initially from the flow under process category in your work class. This is your work class. Yes or no? Do we agree? This is our work class under which we were creating all our tasks or work objects using customer flow. We were using this customer flow and we were creating our work objects. But this is nothing but limited to one particular stage here. See, basic info will have one flow, vehicle info will have one flow, loss info will have one flow. Yes or no? See here, it has one flow each. When we created the case type, Pega automatically tied that new case type, which is insurance case type, which we did it using case types here. See, we created that, and when we created it, Pega automatically gave us a class. alpha hyphen alpha auto hyphen work hyphen insurance. Yes or no? Did we create this class explicitly, guys? Did we? No. Also, when we created the application, Pega gave us our work class. This class was something which Pega automatically created for us. Pega is telling you, hey, this will be a work class, in the sense all the work objects which get created for this particular application, Alpha Auto Insurance, will be going under this work class, because this is your work group or class group. And the corresponding table for that also was designed. If you see, if I click on the class sysadmin, this is my work class. Let me open this. This is a class group. What are the different options we have here? Is a class group, does not belong to a class group, belongs to a class group. Pega, when it created it, it created a class group for us, which is alpha hyphen alpha auto hyphen work. If you test a connection, it will give you this table, data.pc alpha auto work. Go and check this if you want in your DB. Just remember this. Work class or class group is mapped to this table. Sorry. And you can query that. Data got duplicated. Perfect. See, you can query that. This is mapped to your work class. Let us see what is mapped to my insurance class, which is again a case type class which belongs to a class group. Yes or no? See, this is my insurance class which belongs to a class group, which means all that we create, all the work objects we create under insurance also will go and sit under this class. Why? Because the insurance class belongs to this class group. We can verify that. See, this is also pointing to the same table. Want to verify it? Go and check. Copy it. Is it different? Or just fetch for PYID and see if you are getting any insurance classes here. Sorry. Insurance related work objects. Are we able to find I1, I2, I3 in my work table? Do we understand when we say if a class belongs to a class group, what it means? Very good. So this is like tip of the iceberg with respect to understanding what is case types all about. We were able to define a case type insurance. Also understood what Pega out of the box gave us, right? Also, if you see, when it created, let us see, if you want to extend, I'll send you the new link. Don't worry about that. When Pega created, the first flow it created was this guy. Also, so when we created the insurance case type, it created a case type PY default and one of the flows, after which we added multiple stages and steps, because of which we are seeing the other flows here. Let us try to see what does this case type have. We already saw, but again I want to show it to you. So if you see, it is calling py case management default, which we used before also. Yes or no? Right? To create a work object, Pega is using this. Do we agree? Yes? No? And there are other flow actions which it is using. Nothing to worry so far. But this is how it is doing it. Does it make sense, guys? Yes, no? Are you able to understand how exactly we can define a case type within Pega? Very good. So what also you can do is you can go back to these flows and replace those connectors with your flow actions. Whatever flow actions you have defined, you can do that also, and then we can see what appears there. We can do that check also. We'll try to, I want to accommodate in the same class, but that's okay. We can learn more in detail on that tomorrow and see how exactly we can change from one stage to other stage. How can we jump is something we'll understand in tomorrow's class. Okay, does it make sense, guys? Today's class with respect to what is a case type, what does it have, like we discussed, we told that case type is nothing but a rule within Pega which has every case comes with its different stages. Yes or no? We defined those stages. Every stage has its own process. That process has different steps. These steps are nothing but assignments within Pega. Do you agree? Yes? No? That's what we have been seeing so far. So tomorrow when you go, if someone asks you to design a case, all you will do is just come here, click here and keep designing it. And what is happening in the backend, you already know that. Ultimately, it is creating flows for these corresponding stages at the backend, which we have already mastered. Yes or no? We understood how these flows gets created. We did it piece by piece in our flow classes. Does it make sense, guys? Perfect. So, of course, like 1,000 times said is equal to, one time done. You will have to get your hands dirty and you will have to design as many case types as possible to understand what all different options are there. You have to explore each and every bit there. That's how you can master it. Like, I could keep talking like this all through the year, but it won't benefit you until unless you do it by yourself, because failing is where you will be learning. This is not the place you will be learning. You have to fail. While doing that, you have to fail. Only then you will be learning. That's what I found the most effective way for me to understand the product. So you have to try it and fail. Only then you will be able to learn. That's the key to learn any tool, not just this, any tool. So you will have to try it out to go anywhere further from here. With that said, if you guys have any questions, I can take them, or we can join in tomorrow and we can continue this class to understand case types better. Any questions, guys?